Hey guys, what's up? It's Dragoon here, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be doing a discussion. I'm here with a friend of mine, Matt. His channel he just started up called Matt's MadLab. Go ahead and tell everybody what it's about real fast before we get into what we're going to talk about today.
Okay, well first of all, I'd just like to welcome you all to this video, and I hope you enjoy what we're doing here today. But first of all, my channel is basically gameplay videos, reviews on TV or anime, as well as tech discussions like we're currently doing right now. That's pretty much what you're going to find on my channel. So if any of that interests you, stop by. I just already have like 4 videos up, so I already have a good amount of content for you guys.
Alright, so let us get into this first tech talk today. We're going to be talking about the new Nintendo 3DS, which I'm sure you guys have heard about, but we figured it would be decent to go ahead and start off this little segment, especially on Matt's channel. It'd be fun to upload here as well, just to give our insight about it and what it's going to be like. So, new 3DS, what do we have to look forward to if we decide to pick one of these up?
Well, if you decided to pick one of these up, a few things you have to look forward to is it is slightly more powerful than the current generation of 3DSs.
Right, it's got the CPU clocks in it a bit faster. I'm not entirely sure how much. I don't even think they've announced how much.
No, I don't think they did. They
regardless,
just said it's
faster CPU, right?
As well as it's thinner, and the screen is just a little hair bigger.
And I think it's also, the system itself is just a little bit wider too.
Yeah, it's wider, but it's thinner, so.
Which is nice. Also, I think the most important feature that the new 3DS has is the face tracking 3D on the camera on the inside. So basically before, as you guys probably know, you kind of had to maintain that sweet spot, which I'm not going to lie, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, that sweet spot was so hard to maintain. I really didn't think it was. I'm not the kind of person who is moving my hands around all the time when I'm playing my handheld games, because I don't really have a whole lot of games that require the use of the gyroscope. Granted, there are games like Ocarina of Time 3D, which you gave the option to use the gyroscope, and that created a little bit of a paradox, because it was either, do I want the 3D on and not use the gyroscope, or do I want to turn off the 3D and be able to use the gyroscope controls without it causing much of a fuss? And so now, if that sort of thing is something that bothers you or something that gives you trouble, you won't have to worry about that anymore, which is nice. And it's honestly probably the way the system should have been from the get-go.
Yeah, definitely. I know from my point of view, I know I can't sit still when I do a lot of stuff. So when I'm playing my handhelds, I'm always moving. I'm either walking or I'm just rocking in my chair. I can't sit still, so the 3D really messes with me. I'm just very antsy, so I'm really excited to see this face tracking system come into play.
So, do you usually play with the 3D turned off?
Yes, I usually play with the 3D turned off because, like I said, I can't sit still, so it gives me a headache quite often. And maybe with this new face tracker, it won't.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I think it's probably the biggest selling point of the new Nintendo 3DS. Let's sidetrack for just a second and talk about how terrible of a name it is, because it's so, Nintendo.
It's lazy.
Come on. I feel like almost anything could have been better.
Anything could have been better.
A lot of people were advocating for Super 3DS.
That would have been perfectly fine, because I Googled the new 3DS to try to get information on it, and I just kept getting ads to buy a new 3DS of the old generation.
This was back when they first were talking about it, right? Yeah. And we already know, everybody already knows that one of the biggest problems the Wii U has is that people think it's just an add-on for the Wii.
Yeah.
People don't know it's its own separate console. And I kid you not, I got a Wii U around Christmas time, and I'm playing it out in my living room because I was using the gamepad to play just because I felt like doing that. And my brother comes up to me, he's like, oh, what is that? I'm like, oh, I'm playing Wii U. And he's like, so what game are you playing? I was like, oh, the new Smash Brothers. He's like, they made a new Smash Brothers for Wii? I'm like, no, it's for Wii U. He's like, isn't that just the controller? I'm like, no, it's an entirely new system. He's like, what? I was like, it's the successor to the Wii. The general public does not know.
Yeah.
And Nintendo knows that they don't know about the regular Wii, so why would they? I just feel like they're making the same mistake twice.
Yeah, they definitely are. I personally didn't get the confusion with the Wii U and the Wii, but I can clearly see, and I got the confusion with the 3DS and the new 3DS, because if you ask for a new 3DS, it's just do you want a new 3DS or do you want the new 3DS?
Yeah, and then it's gonna be well, I want to use new 3DS, or I want a new old 3DS. It's dumb.
Yeah,
end of story.
It really is. Any name could have been better than what they chose.
But on the topic of what does it do, it's got 2 extra shoulder buttons, which I've always found the naming of Nintendo's shoulder buttons to be extremely weird. ZR, ZL, I don't know why. It's awkward to me for whatever reason.
I feel like they would have been better off following something like, I don't know. I like the way Xbox does it personally because they do
Bumper trigger.
left trigger and right trigger, left bumper, right bumper, and so it's very easy to remember what's what.
Yeah. Like I just feel like
ZR, ZL, like I mean, I feel like it's kind of a throwback to their like N64 where they had the Z button.
Yeah,
underneath.
the GameCube had a C button too, or a Z button.
Z button was up top.
But
So
like,
I feel like
it's awkward.
It's confusing. When you only had one Z button, it was fine. But when you have two on
It's
shoulders and it's like ZL, ZR.
And then like with PlayStation, it's R1 and R2.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot mix that up. That's the personal thing.
I think that's something you can just get over by playing with it enough. And
Yeah,
I read that it's very comfortable having those extra shoulder buttons because then you can press the new ones with your fingertips and the original ones with the middles of your finger. And I heard it fits really well.
Which is nice.
Another nice thing I like is how they added new little thumbstick.
The analog nub.
The analog nub. There we go. And because in a lot of games that'll help control the camera, and I know in a lot of games I played, like I've been playing Luigi's Mansion, the camera is horrible in that, and I struggle with it sometimes.
The only thing that sucks though is unless the game supports the Circle Pad Pro, I mean you're not
going
to
be useless.
It's going to be completely useless. What's interesting to know, if I remember correctly, the analog nub on the new 3DS, it doesn't move. It tracks the movement of your thumb on it, but the piece of hardware itself does not move like a regular Circle Pad would. So we had this discussion the other day.
Yeah.
It's sort of like those old nubs that you'd find in the middle of a keyboard
The old trackers
on the laptop.
in the middle of a keyboard. But here's the advantage to that. From an engineering background I can bring to this, it's one less moving part. Since that tracking nub isn't moving, it has a less chance of breaking and wearing down.
Yeah, which, as we've seen, people had problems with their original analog nub playing Smash.
It's probably a good decision to make that thing solid.
But as long as it works, that's what matters. Some other interesting facts. Obviously the new 3DS is going to support NFC and Amiibos, which just figured I'd bring this up. I found this guy. Found
Look
a
at that
Pitts.
cute little guy.
Look at him. Found him. What was it, a couple days ago? Right?
Yeah, a few days ago. Last one they had.
The last one they had. It was completely on a whim. We decided to go out to a Best Buy, and this guy was here, and so I immediately picked him up. This is the first Amiibo I got, so I'm pretty happy with it, because since Kid Icarus is one of my favorite Nintendo franchises, and I'm hoping for a Wii U game, but probably won't get it.
Amiibos themselves are really interesting to store that kind of data in what seems to be an action figure almost, in a figurine. And the fact that you can cross-platform it from the Wii U to the 3DS as well, because especially the new 3DS is going to have the reader.
Yeah, it's built right into the touchscreen.
Mm-hmm. So I definitely would pick up like a Yoshi Amiibo. That'd be fun for me.
Yeah, exactly. I think the last new feature, unless we're forgetting something, is and it's not even really that new, it's the fact that it uses micro SD cards instead of regular SD cards. And this is just bad design too. The micro SD card slot, I don't know if you knew this, is underneath the back.
It's screwed in.
It's like you have to pull the back plate off of the console.
After you unscrew it.
Yeah, after you unscrew it, and then you can take out the SD card. And it's just like, why?
You can't even use a regular screwdriver to do it. You need one of those micro screwdriver sets that you use if you ever build computers. You know what I'm talking about.
Like, I don't know. I really don't understand why they decided to do that. It's very weird, in my opinion.
It is weird. Maybe it was part of the design to make the entire system thinner, because they added extra buttons in it as well. They might have needed more space.
That could be. I don't know. It's interesting to think about.
We may never know.
Yeah,
but
it's Nintendo. Who knows?
But on the bright side, because you're thinking it's a micro SD card, and then the old 3DSs have regular SD cards. So you're wondering how you're going to do a system transfer, because you have to switch SD cards. You can't exactly put a regular SD card in a micro SD card slot, and what if you don't have the screwdrivers? Well, Nintendo actually thought ahead on this, and they actually did their homework. And if you're transferring data from an old 3DS to the new 3DS, you don't need to switch SD cards. It just transfers the data, some of the data through the internet, like the old transfer data does, and it also transfers some of it through the infrared connection. And so I think Nintendo did a really good job taking the initiative on that, just to make sure you keep all your saved data.
Yeah, because the last thing you want is to lose something.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been a deal breaker for me if I couldn't transfer my data.
So, I believe we've covered pretty much everything. The question is now, is it worth picking up at launch? What do you think? Like, we can give each of our own opinions, although I believe we have the same one, so...
I believe we have the same one as well. Well, I'll start off. At launch, I would not rush out to pick one up for a few things. First of all, it doesn't come with an AC adapter.
Oh, gosh.
So, Nintendo's reasoning for not having an AC adapter was to reduce the cost of it.
But,
Here's the kicker.
you can go online, and you can get an AC adapter for under $10. I think it's like, what, $8? Something like that? You can get a brand new Nintendo certified AC adapter for under $10, which means if I, the consumer, can buy this thing for under $10, it costs probably Nintendo like at most $2 to manufacture. They're not saving anybody money. It doesn't, and it's the same price. Like the console itself is the same price as it's always been. It's $200.
It's still $200.
They're just making a little bit extra money, and I see no reason for it. And we're gonna get people who more likely than not will say, "Well, guys, Nintendo's been withholding the AC adapter in other countries for ages now." And while that's true, does that mean it was a good? Does that mean it was right from the beginning? No. I think, in my opinion, and I don't care if it's like, well, people don't want to have extra AC adapters. I don't think there's anything wrong with having extra.
No.
I'd rather have one more than one not enough.
Yeah.
And B, anytime you buy a console, be it handheld or home console, you should have everything you need in the box to use it right from the get-go. And like, what was the comparison we made? It'd be like selling
like a
PS3 without the power cable.
The power cable.
You don't do that. It's incredibly silly.
It is. As a consumer, I don't like it, but from Nintendo's standpoint, it probably makes a little bit of sense because they would make a few extra dollars for each AC adapter and unit they sold. If, say, 1 million people buy this thing, then they're going to be making, like, say if they sell it to get $2 more from this deal, they'd be making an extra $2 million that they wouldn't before. So while it may be a good business decision for them, financially speaking, it really upsets a lot of the consumers.
And consumers should come first.
Yeah.
In general, but we don't need to talk about business ethics here. So, is it worth picking up one at launch? Any other reasons besides the AC adapter for you?
For me, another reason is currently there's only one exclusive game announced for it.
And that is Xenoblade Chronicles, a port of the game that was released for Wii a couple of years ago. If you like Xenoblade, I guess.
Then you might be interested in picking it up. But honestly, I'm not a fan of it, so it's one less reason not to get it, because all the games that are currently out, I can play on my current 3DS without spending a lot of money.
And let's be real, at this current time, because we don't know the state of the system itself, Nintendo nor third-party developers are going to abandon the massive install base that the regular 3DS has. I mean, the 3DS has sold so many units. If they were to just immediately start developing exclusive games for the new platform, and I use new lightly here, no one's going to buy it. They're not going to make money.
Yeah.
And they realize, they know that. So, I think waiting is the key. And another important piece of knowledge is, and I've had this discussion with a few other people. There are people who believe that it's like, oh, if I get it and it has the faster CPU, it's gonna make my other games run better, and that's not true. If they are not built to utilize the processing power of the new CPU, it doesn't matter. Like people have done tests, and they use Pokemon for an example, because Pokemon X and Y, and I believe Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, the frame rate dipped hardcore if you had the 3D turned on mid-battle.
Yeah.
People would set up a 3DS and a new 3DS and check, and it was the exact same. There's no noticeable improvement with these games because they're just not built to use it.
Yeah. Now, what are some deal breakers for you?
For me,
that I may not have hit.
For me, like I said, it's the same thing. It's the fact of the matter that there's no. The adapter it's $10 more I have to shell out, and I don't really want to do that. I don't want to spend more money than I have to. And it's the fact that, and I'll get to this more in a second. It's the fact that, like I said, there's there's one exclusive game. I shouldn't say there's no, because there is one. But that's it. There's one. And my biggest thing is I'm wondering if the new 3DS is going to take the same footsteps that the DSi took. The DSi and the new 3DS are very, very similar to each other. The DSi came out near the original DS's lifespan. I have a DSi, and I love it, but I only got it because I got a good deal on it back in the day.
Yeah.
If that deal back in the day did not exist, I wouldn't have gotten it. And the DSi, basically what happened was it was released near the end of the lifespan. It had, I believe, a better CPU, and I think it had more RAM. And of course, it sported a new user interface and the DSi shop and all of that. So it did have it was a decent upgrade. It was thinner. It had cameras. It was almost like a new system, but it wasn't. It wasn't. And the regular 3DS, the first type of 3DS came out at the most 2 years later. I could check. I don't remember the exact dates, but and how many exclusive games came out for the DSi at retail that weren't on the shop? 4, 5, somewhere around there. Does anyone remember any of them? No, they weren't good. None of them were like blockbuster games. You could still play, if you had a DS or a DS Lite, you could still play all of the DS's hit games. You could play Pokemon Black and White. You could play Dragon Quest, I think it was at 9, Dragon Quest 10, I don't remember. The new Dragon Quest that was released for the DS. You could play, and that was a beautiful game for the original DS. But every game that came out near the end of the DS's lifespan, you could get your hands on. And you didn't need a DSi to do it. Is it going to be the same way with this? There's only one way to find out. That's just to wait. Yeah. And the thing is, if Nintendo really does plan on making that, you really don't know. You don't know how much of a successor this is going to be. Is it going to be like the DSi, or is this really Nintendo's new system that they're going to start developing games for?
Only time will tell.
Exactly.
And just one more thing you guys should be wary about if you decide to look at buying the new 3DS. It's not a big issue because they had the same issue with the regular 3DS, but it still has the floppy hinges. And I don't know how you guys feel about that. It doesn't bother me too much, but I know some people absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
But beyond that, that's pretty much all my deal breakers.
What? So say down the line, Nintendo continues to support this, and they don't. And let's just real quick sidetrack. There has been a Nintendo hasn't said anything about it, but I forget who it was. IBM. Some company, I cannot remember who it was right now, they announced that they were working on a new chipset for a Nintendo console. Is it a portable or a home console? We don't know. But they are working on processors for a Nintendo console. I don't know what that says. I feel like this is, I'm going to try to keep this very short. Nintendo should not drop the Wii U support. Nintendo should not back out on the Wii U and make a new home console. The Wii U's only been out for 3 years now? It's too soon. But could it be a new portable console? Are we going to see the same thing that happened with the DSi? I don't know.
Not enough information right now.
Not enough information, of course.
To make a call.
But back to what I was saying before. Say they continue to support this. What would get you to buy one of these?
What would get me to buy one of these? Well, perhaps a similar reason what got me to buy an original 3DS is an exclusive Pokemon game or Smash Bros. Smash Bros got me to buy the old 3DS. So anything like an exclusive Pokemon game or maybe another game similar to Smash Bros., maybe a Zelda game, would get me to buy the new one if they were exclusives for that one.
Right. So exclusive content is what sells any console, really. Why do you buy a PlayStation over an Xbox, or why do you buy a Wii U over a PS4?
Yeah.
You get it for the exclusive content.
Games you want to play.
And so, I mean, I'm the same way. Would a new Pokemon like Gen 7, would that push me to get a new 3DS? Maybe. Maybe a new, I don't know, Metroid game.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We haven't gotten a
Metroid game in a long time.
I think the last one was Other M for the Wii. And that was very polarized on who liked it and who did not.
If they did come out with a new Metroid game for this new 3DS, I would probably pick it up. Because last Metroid game I played for a portable console was Metroid Fusion. And that was for
Game
the
Boy
Advance
Advance.
SP back in the day.
Yeah.
If you guys remember that. But that was a fun game, and I would enjoy if they took that route again. Or maybe even now, since the new 3DS is more powerful, maybe they could go into a 3D situation.
And so, new exclusive content is going to be the most important. But with that being said, do you have any closing remarks to end this discussion on the new 3DS?
Closing remarks. I think that if it follows, here's what I think. If it follows the path of the DSi, and you follow the same actions you took when you got the DSi, then you'll be fine. But if it doesn't follow the path of the DSi, and you still don't take if you take the same actions you got from the DSi, you'd still be fine. So if you wait to buy it, either way you're going to be fine, because if there's nothing on it, then you don't have it, you didn't waste that money. But down the road, you could even get a used one for less, and then that could help pay for your AC adapter, and boom, you still make out.
Or who knows? Maybe they'll start including an AC adapter.
Maybe they will. Maybe there's going to be a big bug with the first batch of games that the systems they have to recall and fix. Or maybe they'll come out with some sort of deal where you can turn in your old handheld for $75 or something to pay toward a new one. You know, that'd be nice.
So, once again, only time will tell.
Exactly.
So with that, you guys, we hope you've enjoyed this discussion on the new Nintendo 3DS. If you have any other comments that you would like to add, be sure you leave them in the comment section below. Be sure you check out Matt's page. It's Matt's MadLab. I'll make sure I have a link to it in the description. And with that, we will catch you guys next time.
Take care.